At this time, the king of Jerusalem was a man named Adonizedek. He had heard about the Israelites' victories at Jericho and Ai, and the killings of their kings. He also heard that Gibeon had made a treaty of peace with Israel and had become their allies. He and his people were very much alarmed at this, because Gibeon was an important city, like one of the royal cities, larger than Ai, and all its men were good fighters. The king of Jerusalem appealed to the kings of the cities across the land. "Come up and help me attack Gibeon," he said, "because it has made peace with Joshua and the Israelites." The 5 kings joined forces and moved up with all their troops and took up positions against Gibeon and attacked it. The Gibeonites sent word to Joshua at the camp in Gilgal, "Do not abandon your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us. The kings from the hill country have joined forces against us." So Joshua marched up from Gilgal with his entire army, including all the best fighting men. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them. I have given them into your hand. Not one of them will be able to withstand you." After an all-night march from Gilgal, Joshua took them by surprise. The Amorites began to flee, with Israel in pursuit of them. And the Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, killing more by hailstones than the swords of the Israelites. Joshua said to the Lord, in the presence of Israel, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Elijah." And the sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down by about a full day, and the Israelites soundly defeated the troops of their enemies. Joshua returned with all of Israel to the camp at Gilgal. The 5 kings fled and hid in a cave near a royal city called Makkedah. But the Israelites captured them, and they were brought to Joshua. He had them killed, and their bodies hung on 5 poles, and they were left until evening. At sunset, Joshua gave the order, and the bodies were taken down and thrown into the cave where they had been hiding. The entrance was covered with large rocks. The armies of 5 kings were defeated in one battle. The Israelites went on to conquer city after city in the hill country, the Negev desert, the western foothills, and the mountain slopes. Most of the land was taken, but there still remained parts of Canaan unconquered. The land was divided amongst the tribes, just as the Lord God commanded Moses. At Gilgal, Joshua was visited by Caleb, the only one of Moses' original spies, besides Joshua, who believed in the taking of the land. Caleb said, "You know what the Lord said to Moses about you and me. I was 40 years old when Moses sent me to explore the land. I brought back a report according to my convictions, but my fellow Israelites, who went up with me, made the hearts of the people melt in fear. I, however, followed the Lord my God wholeheartedly. So on that day, Moses swore to me, 'The land on which your feet have walked will be your inheritance, and that of your children forever, because you have followed the Lord your God wholeheartedly.' Now then, just as the Lord had promised, He has kept me alive for 45 years, since the time he said this to Moses, while Israel moved about in the wilderness. So here I am today, 85 years old. I am still as strong today as the day Moses sent me out. I'm just as vigorous to go out to battle now as I was then. Now give me this hill country that the Lord promised me that day. You yourself heard the Anakites were there, and their cities large and fortified. But with the Lord helping me, I will drive them out just as he said. Joshua blessed Caleb and gave him Hebron as his inheritance, because he followed the Lord wholeheartedly. Caleb drove the Anakites out of Hebron and vowed to give his daughter in marriage to the man who captured Debir, a city to the south. His half-brother's son, Othniel, conquered Debir and won the daughter. When Joshua was very old, he assembled all the tribes of Israel at Shechem, which was located in the territory of the tribe of Ephraim. He summoned the elders, leaders, judges, and officials of Israel, and they presented themselves before God. Joshua said to all the people, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Long ago your ancestors lived beyond the Euphrates River and worshipped other gods. But I took your father Abraham from the land beyond the Euphrates and led him throughout Canaan and gave him many descendants. I sent Moses and Aaron, and I afflicted the Egyptians by what I did there, and I brought you out. When I brought your people out of Egypt, you came to the sea, and the enemies pursued them, with chariots and horsemen as far as the Red Sea. But they cried to the Lord for help, and he put darkness between you and the Egyptians. He brought the sea over them and covered them. Then you crossed the Jordan and came to Jericho. The citizens of Jericho fought against you, as did the others in the land, but I gave them into your hands. You did not do it with your own sword and bow. I gave you a land on which you did not toil, and cities you did not build. And you live in them and eat from the vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant. Now fear the Lord and serve him with faithfulness. Throw away the gods your ancestors worshipped beyond the Euphrates River and in Egypt, and serve the Lord. But if serving the Lord sounds undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates, or the gods of the Canaanites, in whose land you are now living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." The people agreed to serve the Lord, forsaking all other gods. Joshua made a covenant for the people, and there at Shechem he reaffirmed for them decrees and laws. Joshua recorded these things in the book of the law of God. Then he took a large stone and set it up there under the oak near the holy place of the Lord. He said to the people, "This stone will be a witness against us. It has heard all the words the Lord has said to us. It will be a witness against you if you are untrue to your God." Then Joshua dismissed the people, each to their own inheritance. Joshua died at the age of 110. He was buried in the land of his inheritance, in the hill country of Ephraim. Roughly 470 years before, the dying Joseph had requested that his bones be taken and buried in the Promised Land when the Israelites finally left Egypt. It took nearly 5 centuries, but Joseph's bones were finally buried in a tract of land that his father had once purchased for 100 pieces of silver.